So about horror, then let's talk about some horror movie stuff then. Do you have any, do you have like a top, you don't have to.
So hard.
I know it might
My
be difficult.
go-to Christmas horror is Gremlins.
Yeah.
Love Gremlins.
Yeah.
Jaws is a classic, and just because that music.
Yeah.
I still get in the ocean today hearing dun dun.
Yeah, John Williams, yep.
Yep.
2 notes.
It's all, my gosh. But what brilliant. When Bruce didn't work, the shark,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, bring the orchestra.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. I'm old school 80s, so give me slasher with Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
I love Army of Darkness. I like it a little jokey.
Nice. Yeah. Bruce Campbell, he was as Ash. Such a great, like, I feel like he should have had a bigger career. Like
he did go on to sitcoms and stuff.
Yeah, he has, but I feel like because he had like, I thought he had pretty solid movie star looks, like especially
he looked like a superhero.
He did. He had a very strong masculine
Chin,
face and chin, but he had he had so much charisma.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Especially by the time he gets to Army, because I think Army. I know a lot of people probably prefer either. I think Evil Dead 2 is considered the best of those, but.
Yeah, Evil Dead's not my favorite, but Army of Darkness is.
Yeah.
But when he produced the Evil Dead in 2013 and it reversed it with the girl, I thought it was pretty good. It's gory as fuck.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're fine.
It's very gory if you're into that, which I'm into all of the horror genre, except for the ones that are, I have to finish or fill in things, or it's that psychological thriller, but the ending really never comes. It's by your perspective.
Okay.
Those really piss me off.
Would you consider, say, Blair Witch a part of that?
Not my favorite. I found footage. Not my favorite.
I don't like that either, just because there's so little cinematic quality to it.
But again, I have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
Hated it.
Well, the whole thing with Blair Witch was that, did this actually happen? Because at the time, the whole found footage genre was so new. No one had really done it the way that Blair Witch had. And people were thinking, no, this actually, because it was filmed like it was shot on just like a home video.
Oh, is that why it was so popular? Because people thought it was
real?
Yeah.
And the novelty of it too.
If I would have thought it was real, then I would have had a different viewpoint.
Yeah.
Because then it would have got me.
Well, because you come from, because again, I'm not, I'll be honest, horror is not my favorite genre of film.
I got to know. What's your favorite genre?
I don't, I used to be like very inclined towards like action and sci-fi, but honestly, as I got older, I feel like you can have great movies in any genre and you can have awful movies in any genre.
Sure.
So for me, it just became more about like, the directors, the actors. So for instance, like right now, my favorite director is probably Christopher Nolan, just because Nolan stuff is just so.
Did he do Batman?
He did Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. So, but like his most recent movie was Oppenheimer. And
that was a good movie.
It was. And I mean, the fact that he was able to make a 3-hour R-rated drama that was about a scientist, and the movie made almost $1 billion. Like it
was so good. But I also think it's because it was real.
Well,
the reality part of going, this really fucking happened.
Yeah. And obviously the whole cast, was fantastic. Like Robert Downey Jr. is great to see him doing, some real acting again.
Yeah.
Like I like him as Tony Stark. He's fine as Iron Man. He's fun. But I think people forgot that he's actually a really good actor. And
he's amazing.
Yeah.
He had a great comeback.
He did. Oh man, that's if they're saying that if he wins an Oscar, which by the time I don't know if by the time this will be posted, the Oscars will have happened. I don't think it will. But if he wins an Oscar, they'll say it's one of probably the best Hollywood comeback stories of all time, considering that he had such a rough 90s, with drug problems and rehab.
If we grew up with all the cameras and stuff in the 90s, thank God we didn't.
Yeah.
And you're under that if you're under that microscope, it's going to come out like that. God, the things that I did in my 20s.
Yeah.
I would never want out there.
Well, and they say that I think some of it was a tribute. Did you ever see a movie he was in? It was an 80s movie called Less Than Zero. It was with him, Andrew McCarthy, and Jamie Gertz.
I would totally watch that.
Yeah, it's based on a Bret Easton Ellis novel he wrote American Psycho.
I loved American Psycho.
Yeah. So, but it's because his whole genre is like are young, pretty people that have a lot of problems, essentially, or most of his books.
Yeah.
But Less Than Zero is about it's McCarthy, Downey Jr., and Jamie Gertz all play like high school friends. and Andrew McCarthy leaves to go to the East Coast to go to college, and then he comes back and he finds out that Robert Downey Jr.'s character has basically become addicted to drugs, and he's basically doing like, he's basically prostituting himself for another guy played by James Spader, who he always plays.
This is a great cast.
It is.
Why
it's
haven't
a wonderful,
I seen this?
Yeah, it's a fantastic film, and it's got a great soundtrack. It's great, really really good stuff. But because his character in the movie is supposed to have like a really heavy drug problem, I think that's where they say that's where it initially started for him.
Oh.
I don't know if it was a method choice to be like, I'm actually going to do drugs.
I don't know. I feel like in your 20s, you're invincible and you're experimenting and you're doing your thing.
Yeah.
So it just happens to align at the same time.
Well, and in the 80s, I mean, because drugs were so readily. I mean, I guess if you're a celebrity, drugs are always available to you if you want them.
If you want them, we live in Vegas.
I know, yeah, true. So anyway, though, but to go back to horror movies and stuff, I do like horror films, but I like horror films that are story driven, that are actually like The Shining.
That's a good one.
Yeah, The Thing, John Carpenter's
That's
The Thing.
a great one.
That's probably my favorite one. And that movie still disturbs me because of all the real creature effects.
Dude, that could happen.
It's in the paranoia. The whole reason that movie is so effective is because you don't know.
Right, and it's a social experiment too.
Yeah.
What would people do?
Exactly. If you couldn't trust anybody around you. So, and you're in this isolated place. I didn't see the not the remake, but it was like the remake prequel that came out back in 2011. Yeah. So, I love David Cronenberg's The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Oh my gosh, that's good too. I like sci-fi because Alien is one of my favorites.
Mine too. Yeah, I will say Alien and Aliens, both of them.
I like them all. I don't care if you give me a Predator. I don't care. I like them all. I like anything with aliens.